We're live. Play that intro.
All right, here we go.
Welcome to another edition of the Friday Nooner. I'm Pete McIntyre, the managing editor of GrepBeat. With me, as always, the Godfather himself, Joe Colby. Joe, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's another exciting Friday here at GrepBeat HQ.
It's Coffee Ventures HQ. GrepBeat is just one of the tendrils.
You know, we have quite the brand matrix here at Coffee Ventures / GrepBeat / Jurassic / other things. And so, you know, it just makes us look bigger. It's the Colby Keiretsu. And so this is what we're doing.
What is that? Is that Japanese?
No, it's actually Korean. Zaibatsu is Japanese.
Okay,
so we could be the Colby Zaibatsu, but then we don't quite get the phonetic alliteration. So it is the idea of building a number of businesses, and they're all kind of intertwined. So if you think of Kawasaki or how the Japanese business infrastructure grew, they built all these businesses, but they're all like in each other's businesses. It's kind of like if you think of Capital Broadcasting and American Tobacco, and they're all.
Isn't that what we'd call that here? A conglomerate. They're like in different businesses, but they're all the same.
Sounds much cooler.
Right, and it does have the alliteration.
We could call it conglomerate, but I think it's cooler to say.
Well, it could be the Colby conglomerate. That's also two C's.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if you want to be boring. And if my name started with Z,
it's not a dinosaur name. Sure.
Well,
okay. Zaibatsu. All right, fair enough. All right, so now I'm totally thrown off. What were we gonna talk about?
That's all it took.
Yeah, that was now okay. All right, there's some local headlines this week, right? So one, even though we were accused by Jason Kaplan of burying this news in yesterday's newsletter, but Jess Lipson and Real Magic / Levitate, he seems to go back and forth on what he wants to call it.
Well, I do have opinions there. But I first want to say happy Friday to Christina. Thank you for being our first, potentially only commenter.
No, that's good. As always, we encourage comments because we may stop and jump in.
So, well, hello. So all comments welcome, but to speak to it's great.
Well, their news was they raised another $8 million and hit 2,000 paid customers only 7 months after they hit 1,000 paid customers. So they're chugging along. They're a little over 100 employees now, I believe, tending to add another 50 to 75 this year.
Yeah, they're doing great. I think Jess really knows the formula. He, as you know, Jess bootstrapped ShareFile a number of years ago and sold it to Citrix, which became a very large presence in the Raleigh scene. I think he really figured out how to do high volume, lower middle market sales. I assume that's kind of the price point of his new company's product of a few $1,000s a year or something, and really build sales teams and focus by different verticals, whether it's insurance or real estate agents or whatever, really build that engine. He knows that well, and he's really done a great job with, I want to say Levitate. I think a lot of entrepreneurs start their, and Jess is very seasoned, but start with a company name and then they name the product name something different. I think that is because they have these grand ambitions. It's actually better just keep it simple. It should just be Levitate. It is the Shaka Khan naming model. You, I imagine, as a non-millennial, non-Gen Z, will know Shaka Khan, right?
Yes, I know Shaka Khan.
So Shaka Khan, the
I'm
band,
Gen X.
Shaka Khan, the album, Shaka Khan. I used to think their song was called
The
Shaka
artist.
Khan.
I
The
think
artist.
she's Shaka Khan.
The song is called Feel For You. I used to call that Shaka Khan, but it's very Shaka Khan all the time, right? And I think Levitate should be Levitate all the time. It's nice that Jess likes magic. It's real magic. But like, you know what? When you get bigger and you have other things, great, rename the real magic. But you should be Levitate, Levitate, Levitate. Learn from Shaka Khan.
I feel like they had moved. It seemed like they'd moved to calling it Levitate, including calling the company Levitate. But then recently, he sort of said real magic again. But then people want to know what they do, and they're sort of a keep in touch, keep in contact type.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of a CRM.
It's almost like, if you think of, from what I understand, think of CRM, right? It's a way to keep in contact, but with groups of people. But that's often designed for sales teams and larger organizations. I think if you think about so many, like in insurance agents or real estate agents or really anything that has agent at the end of it. Hold on. Then I had to jump off because my computer's prompted me to install some software, which I didn't want to do.
Yeah, no, this isn't the time for that. I know. You should just say no. Say later.
I said no. I said no. I was on the.
Try tonight.
But the idea is that as an agent, you need to maintain relationships with people and dialogue with people. And you want to
top of mind,
do that.
I believe.
Top of mind, yeah. But you want to do that as more of an individual or one where you have your own business. So it works really well for, I think, real estate agents, insurance agents, and other things that end in agent. Maybe not secret agent. I don't know. If I were a secret agent, I would use it that way. I wouldn't want to, like, if I had moles.
You don't want to be top of mind though when you're a secret agent. Like, you don't want people to.
Well, that's why Levitate would be so valuable, because I want to be top of mind with my moles, my plants, but I don't want to be top of mind people trying to get me. See, this is why I would be a great agent. You would be, okay. You probably have a good desk job.
Honestly, I think the people that talk more about how they would be good agents, secret agents, probably would not be good secret agents, because they like to talk about it. You want to talk the talk.
I've never talked about it before. I'd rather not. You brought it out of me.
Okay. Well, if it was that easy to beat out of you, it probably was not your thing. But
I'd make a great slide.
One thing that interested me about this deal is that when I saw the press release, it made a point that Jess is investing as part of this round. And I've never heard, I guess I'd never heard that publicly called out. Because certainly
in general or with Jess?
In general. I'd never seen and also the founder is going to be part of this third round.
They have to have the money to do it, so it works.
Right, but I know he invested at the start. He sort of bootstrapped it / I think he actually said I call this self-funded, where it was bootstrapped the first time around. Yeah. Have you seen that though? I just hadn't seen that as a public mention.
I don't know if it's always called out, but I'm sure Scott Wingo did that with Spiffy as well. So, yeah, I don't know. Kevin Flowers, of course, loves it. Yay, Kevin. I think it's really good for, it really is a good product. And
he was in the office the other day, Kevin Flowers.
Oh, he was?
He said he's a big fan of the Friday Nooner. I said, you need to comment. We need commenters. And look, he's commenting.
Check. I want to take down his comment. So now he's probably going to log off and be like, oh, check my box. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have anything more to say about Jess Lipson and Levitate, Real Magic?
I look forward. I think there's more to come. I think that is he understands the game, and he's good at executing. So we're encouraging. So
they're taking more space in because they're in HQ Gateway, and I think it said he's
of course they're in HQ or Raleigh Founded.
Well, of course,
that's kind of their gig, right? So
yeah, he and Brooks, his wife, are two of the four, right? Co-founders of that.
I suppose
he's taken other space in Gateway, and they're blowing it up, even though there's no one in the office yet. But they're anticipating.
He's ready.
You know how they're going to celebrate this milestone tomorrow? They are having a drive-in movie viewing of Catch Me If You Can because of the magic themed.
Okay, that's a little bit.
That's how they're going to celebrate. So it's a COVID
whatever works
celebration. Okay. All right. If that doesn't impress you, that's fine.
So, Hey, so what? But we
Pendo,
had a few other
VC.
things in the press lately.
Pendo, there was a story today, among other things. They're anticipating hiring another 400 people this year. Obviously, they're growing.
Grow.
There wasn't really other news. You showed me that link on Insight Software. So that's a private equity roll up, right? Of two, it was Insight Software and Global Software, and then they combined them 2018, and since then they have done like 16 acquisitions. I do have an issue with that company name. So it's just Insight Software, all lowercase. I do not like not having an initial cap because it's very annoying if you want to try to start a sentence with the company name, but it's not a capital. Right. It looks like you're doing it wrong. And then you have to go through all these gymnastics to not start a sentence with that. It's a very personal beef, but actually not just personal. All journalists, I feel maybe most journalists would share this issue, but it doesn't seem to be slowing them down.
Well, they're fighters.
As a company.
They're fighters, and they're not afraid to rock the boat. I think what's notable about Insight Software is, there's certainly companies like Pendo who are growing, raising a lot of venture capital. Part of their deal is to advertise that. It helps them with hiring, grow. That's be very loud and out with those kind of things. But then you have other companies that are more coming from the private equity world, which we talked a lot about, how that's really kind of the secret impactful group that's really influenced a lot of software companies that are plugging away, making acquisitions and growing organically, that are really starting to be pretty big players. So you have Insight Software, and then you have Prometheus, of course, in Raleigh, and it's just part of their culture. So one of the reasons why it's great that Pendo is doing well, or they're saying that they're doing well, but that's part of their culture, is to be kind of very loud and part of that story. But there are lots of other
companies. Those do not sound like positive words you're using. They're saying they're doing well. I think they're doing well.
I think they are doing well, but everything's it is that is, they have to tell that story, right? So that is part of what they're doing. Where there are other companies that plug away and they're just not, that's not as much part of their culture, right? And so it's just different.
But also when you're talking private equity, they've had an exit essentially. They're not on the same. Someone's had an exit if there's private equity.
Well, what's just different? I mean, I think Insight Software is a roll up, right? So what does an exit mean? Like, that's all kind of like, what is an exit, right? Is actually you're not in the business at all?
It was a roll up because they were. No, but early investors have got. You don't need to be as public facing when you're already sort of majority owned by a private equity. Would you agree with that?
I think it's just different. It's just different. Well, I mean,
that's one of the
let's look at this. Pendo, who owns the majority of that?
I mean, VCs,
really
who want to get out different? Right, but they want the rocket ship to keep going out so then they can get out on that. Whereas private equity,
but everyone wants to get out. I mean, ultimately, it's always a bigger fish model. I hear what you're saying.
Right.
It's just a little bit gray when you get into it. And companies are different. They have different cultures. So, but cool. And so what else is in the news? I know we had some other things you want to talk about. We have our special guest later, but we're going to go hold off. Yeah.
Do we want to, we're going to bring him or her on. I don't know if, we did announce it.
We did announce it. So
Tobi
it's not really a secret.
Yes, from co-founders. I'm sure everyone reads the newsletter. So, and follows us on social. So then I can actually see him. He's in the green room. He's in the virtual green room. I'm not sure which direction the virtual room would be.
I can see him too. He just gave you the finger. Really?
Whoa! I didn't see that. I wasn't looking.
Well, no one really knows because I can just make stuff up.
Right. Okay. So this morning I get my CNN 5 Things newsletter.
Oh, yeah.
I do read every morning. Yeah. It's a good newsletter. It's one of, it's not Grepbeat, but it's a good solid national. Anyway, they had a story right at the very top, just sort of I wouldn't say a human interest story, but story about Elephant Ventures, which is a software company in New York, how it has gone to a 4-day work week. as you point out, it's not the first company that's gone to a 4-day work week. It is becoming more of a trend. Though actually, as I mentioned to you, when I was at Sports Illustrated, we had a 4-day work week on the magazine side. And had a 4-day publishing week. It was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, was the magazine because it went to press on Monday. At any rate, I thought it was an interesting story and a trend that, the news, is my internet gonna, yeah, I'm back there. And wanted to talk about, is that something you guys ever considered at Pronto? Can I be off today? That's really the question.
I think it's a very uninteresting story. And the reason I think it's a very uninteresting, not a bad story, is
this is why I bring you out here. Okay.
Not because that people we should look at the 40-hour work week, the 5-day month. I think it's because we've gone way beyond that. Quite honestly, I think it's not a question of, people should work 4 days versus 5 days longer. I think that's a dated 20, 30-year-old concept. I think what is much more relevant is work and life really being quite fluid, particularly during COVID. There are certain expectations. You have to kind of show up for meetings, but you get your work done, certainly in the tech community. But then your hours, you're often working at night. You're working during the day. You're working, you're weaving things in. And so tech and other industries too, but certainly tech, particularly in certain type of roles like engineering, we're definitely going down the trend of just work just needs to get done, and it needs to get done at lots of different times. And there's a lot of flexibility in terms of figuring it out. You just need to get the work done. It doesn't work in all roles. But then I think what's fascinating though, which is the new thing, is with COVID, not only have we created a lot of flexibility before with time, we've now really created a lot of flexibility with place too. And so we've really kind of changed the notion of the office is the place where work has to get done, to now people don't want to be in the office for good reason. And so now what is the future of the office? If you can do everything you need to do at home or wherever, or just a laptop, so then it's a purpose office, not where really work gets done, is it where you collaborate. So the office is less about a factory and is it more about a collaboration place and looks more like a glorified coffee shop or kind of hangout area than it does a place where people are tied to their desk, like churning things out. So it is a very interesting topic. Yeah, it is a very interesting topic. And there's good and bad. So at one level, people like the flexibility, but when things get fluid, the flip side is you always have to be on to, right? The expectation.
Yes, and I think that when you're talking about being fluid, the division between work and life, I think that is, leads to some burnout that even if people are working from home I think that companies are finding this out in this past year or so. That even if people can make divisions like, okay, you work in this room, and then when you walk out, you're not. But if it's kind of like you're always kind of working and not working, then you're sort of always on.
I mean, and on a related note, there is the idea of unlimited vacation days, right? And people, tech companies particularly, tout that. But the reality is, what we found is a lot of people don't like that, because then it often means they say that, but then there's like expectation, and it's always unclear.
They're like, what, you're going on vacation?
Yeah, it's like, well, how much do I have? Well, you have unlimited. There's unlimited. Just crazy. And then also, the reason companies like that is, from a financial point of view, is they don't have to keep those unpaid vacation days on their books as liabilities. So there's a very clear financial reason why companies like it. It works in businesses where you have good management oversight and you can kind of assess people in kind of competitive spaces. But often people like some clarity. They want to know that I've got this time and it's not going to be questioned, where sometimes when it's unlimited, it's flexible, but it's always questioned. And so, I think it depends on the company culture.
Like it's 3 weeks, but then they almost like, you need to take it. I don't care if you just sit home.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just different.
Forced mandatory vacation. I'm standing behind that.
Well, hey,
you haven't taken any time off. All right. Time to go to our guests.
Why don't we bring guests and see what Tobi thinks?
Okay. All right.
And I want to hear what Tobi's up to as well.
Okay. I'm going to add him right now. There he is. Toby, how are you?
Guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Everyone can hear you. All of our hundreds probably listeners.
Tens of people.
Eventually there'll be tens that will listen to this.
Should I do the close-up too? You guys are always doing the close-up, right? Is this more consistent if I'm like this?
Joe is very close. He gets in there.
I'm very close because my vision
I'm more
is
relaxed, I think.
And I keep tabs on if there are comments or banners or other little things. So I need to be close,
like right up in there.
Versus if I were just
I'll stick back like this.
I can see
you can but I got my controls.
The comments that we have. He doesn't have
we'll
that.
mention
but we should say who Toby is. So Toby is a principal at Co-Founders Capital in Cary. Before that, among other things, he co-founder and ultimately CEO of Shoeboxed, right, which was here in Durham and had an exit in 2018. So that was digitizing receipts and other things like that.
Exactly. That was the main idea, that we felt that paper receipts don't make sense in the 21st century anymore because they have really interesting information on it, right? That sort of item level data is something that you can't get from anywhere else, and that can be really interesting to the consumer as well as merchants, CPG brands, etc. But somehow we in the world just decided to print that on a piece of paper to make that data useless for anybody involved. So that was exactly it.
Well, to be fair,
to your comment earlier, your call on the bookkeeping change, that was exactly the reason that at Shoeboxed, I think in maybe 2012, 2013, we shifted to unlimited vacations.
I knew it was a racket, but I didn't know how much of a racket it was.
Eyewitness news here at Greppy. We're finding the real truth of what's going on. That's the agent part of my name. The dirt.
No, but it was seriously, I was, we got our VC investment in 2011. That's when we got audits, the annual audit requirement. And so, we beefed up our whole bookkeeping controller process. And I got fed up by the fact that we sat in a room with 5 people once a month for a whole day. And 3 hours of that day was, oh my God, this person has taken a vacation day, although they hadn't accrued enough hours yet. So we need to have a negative balance here. When somebody left, quit their job, terminated, it was always the question of, well, what is the amount now that we have to pay or at times get back from employees? So that was a really, bad thing too. It was, if you have an employee and they say, hey, I'm going to take Thursday, Friday off, you don't really want to come to them and say, you actually only have 1.5 days accrued. You need to wait another month until you can take the 2 days off, right? You say, sure, go ahead. If you got your stuff managed, if it's taken care of, if you found, who's going to sub in for you, great, go ahead and do it. That was always kind of our general way to deal with it. But that whole bookkeeping, accounting part about unused vacation days tended to
it's a huge pain. It's a huge pain.
And we had similar experience to you, Joe. I think, so overall, when we look back at it, it was that most people took less vacation days when it was unlimited to before, I can't even remember what we had, but it was small, right? Like 14 vacation days a year or something like that. So one thing we had to start doing a few years in after we realized it is to make sure that the managers talk to folks that hadn't taken vacation in a while, right? And have it recommend and say, hey, don't you want to take a week off? I think that's a very, very important thing to stay on top of. Yeah.
Well, I think we've spoken from the management perspective. I think people out there probably have comments on whether it's good or unlimited or not unlimited. I found, and it sounds like you're saying this, that part almost matters less. It's really about having really good managers and setting expectations and having a good dialogue, regardless of the policy. If you have bad managers, it's going to be a problem either way. And if you have great managers, either one can actually kind of work well.
I try to make sure that all of the full-time employees at Greppy take all of their vacation days. I also am the only full-time employee at Greppy. Just me, but I make sure I'm on top of my vacation days. I take them all. I'll borrow some for the next couple of years.
How many vacation days do you get?
How many?
What's that?
Do I get? What is my vacation policy? Let's work this out here.
Are we including family happy hour Friday afternoons or not? I'm just not sure if that's really counted or not.
I don't have to take vacation for that. That's on my time. There is one today in Raleigh.
Sure.
a rare 2 weeks in a row.
And is that someone's house, or is that a particular
it's at my parents'.
Okay.
We're not doing as much of the pub thing.
Okay.
If this was yesterday, though, we might sit outside for an hour or so before repairing back to my. But tonight it's going to rain, it looks like, today.
So, Tobi, tell us, just get us up to speed in terms of what is new with co-founders, and for those of people who don't know, kind of where you guys are focusing, just so everyone has kind of the latest on what you guys are doing.
And why are you at co-founders? Why make the jump from entrepreneur to VC? Yeah, just take them one at a time, whatever order you choose.
Why would we not be at co-founders? Pete, Joe, why are you guys not working at co-founders?
I don't know why.
They haven't hired me.
After this conversation with Pete, I'm thinking about it.
Sure. So, Co-Founders Capital, we are a B2B software seed investor with a heavy focus on North Carolina. So a VC fund that's 5 years old now. David Gardner started it in 2015, and Tim McLaughlin, the second partner, joined very shortly thereafter with the first fund, which was about a $12 million fund. So back then, those guys were writing, mostly 6-digit checks and mostly into pre-revenue companies. Now we're investing out of Fund 2, which is a $32 million fund. So our checks have more become, kind of centered around the $1 million or so mark. And we still do some pre-revenue investments, especially when we know the markets well. Most of our investments that we make right now are typically ad revenue, right? So call it 5 or 6 digits annual revenue. As said, within B2B software, in that very broad. So we do everything from healthcare IT to fintech, insurtech, martech, HR tech. You name all the techs.
Blank tech, yeah, just put it, okay.
There you go. And the other part that I think is unique about us is we, besides the early investment in North Carolina-based B2B SaaS companies, we're also very active in helping those folks, right? So one thing that's common for all three of us as co-founders is that we are all former entrepreneurs, and we were entrepreneurs for a lot longer than we have been investors. So we truly like to jump in early on, right? Help founders. We will fund, first-time founders, folks right out of school, just as much as we would fund other founders. And we just hope we can be helpful to those folks, either avoid mistakes or also, right, just add to it. And the name Co-Founders Capital doesn't come from anywhere. We might work a little bit less than a normal co-founder, maybe on hour per week or days per week, as you guys were just talking about. But right, everything we can help with, be it hiring, sales, channel partnerships, fundraise, legal, financial things. We really try to be kind of take a co-founder's position in those companies.
Cool. And some of the companies have sort of worked out. I mean, I guess these days, no one's really working out of people's space, but you guys have some space, right, kind of in that building in Cary, and some of the early stage people might have worked there.
That's right. Bit. I have not, or actually I've just once or twice seen that space in the last 10 months.
Oh, right.
But yes, exactly. So we have a space in Cary. The town of Cary gave us 1 floor of an office space there to basically make accessible to entrepreneurs for free. Folks can come in and work from there. It's not just our portfolio companies, but we can help folks in there too with office hours, etc. We have a few other people that during non-COVID times we bring in. Sotomayor, an IP attorney, for example, spends a day a week there so that he can do office hours in IP, trademark law. We have somebody on the PR side that does the same thing, works out of that office, gives advice to some startups, etc. Yep.
No, that's really good. I mean, I think the challenge is for entrepreneurs is a lot of VCs will tell the story that you said, and I think they really need to kind of go to their websites and kind of understand, because locally, we have co-founders, we have Full City, we have Idea Fund, and there's like some out of there. I think one thing that I've always thought you guys have done a good job is you've actually made a lot of investments here. You have, I think your origin story, genesis story is really is investing in often recent grads, and I know it's expanded since then, but I think it's great. I think it's great that you actually practice what you preach and do a lot of early stage investments. And that I know you've expanded out, but it really is started in the triangle, which is cool. Pete, you might
That
notice, but
was
we're
the
probably
last question. That was a big reason for me to join those guys. Right on.
Good. Pete, we're coming up on our time. I know you had a trivia question you prepared. I want to. I don't know if I'm going to compete with Toby, but I kind of want to.
Be a stretch.
What's that?
Prepared might be a bit of a stretch. It is a trivia question.
Okay, you just think about all those vacation days and.
No, I'm just saying.
Thinking about that cruise. Don't you take cruises?
It's a trivia question.
Okay, let's do it.
Cruises are a bit on hold. You might have noticed.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back on a cruise. Okay, here's the question. And so people can jump in the comments. Whoever answered it first wins a pint glass, right? It's true.
We're going to let the people go first. And then if we don't see any activity, then Toby and I are going to jump in.
All right, so this week, Hasbro announced that this particular toy is going gender neutral.
Oh, I know this.
I have an idea, but I don't know.
I read this article last night.
There's currently a Mr. and a Mrs.
Yes.
Okay.
You let me know when I'm going to win. This could be like 2 in a row. You let me know, people. I'm going to give them 3 seconds. 1,
all right.
2,
you should give them 5 seconds.
3.
All right, you
4,
all right, you 3. That's
5.
enough. Oh! So he got in there. He can't win the. You can't win the pint glass again.
Technically, it was Kevin and Jim, but
well,
Kevin, like they literally came in like at a very similar time. But Kevin,
all right,
so
that's good
he's
then. Kevin is the winner. Yes, there's
and
no
this
longer
is
going to
Jim's
be
answer, but it was like a split second too late.
There is
that's
Jim.
exciting.
I was hoping for the Go Gators comment from you here. Typically, when Jim and I talk, that comes up.
I do not. I would not allow Gators talk. I'm an LSU fan. They're a permanent opponent from the other cross division, so there will be no Gators. I will not be putting the Gators on here. So yes, it's true, Mr. Potato Head. There's on Twitter. There's a guy who does. He like pretends to be a MAGA type, and a lot of people think incorrectly he is. Anyway, he had a good riff on this about the if they're not going to be gendered, he doesn't want any potato head things. He needs to keep them. He's like, I didn't have a problem. Yeah, but sure, my kid was playing with anthropomorphic potato. That's fine. But this has gone too far. No Mr. and Mrs.
Well, Jim has issues with this as well. And also worth noting that Jim would like a replay. You know when we replay? Next week. We'll see ya.
We're going to replay next week. Okay. So that's thanks for everyone coming. Subscribe to the newsletter. Thanks to our guest, Toby. Thanks for all the vacation days, Joe. And and you want to play the outro?
Yeah, I'll do it. Here we go. See ya.
That's it.